just get right into it. Pick a random character and see how it goes. Okay, I got Azazel this time. Pretty good character, definitely one of my personal favorites. I do greatly enjoy him because he has such strong attacks. I'm a sucker for damage in this game, so he's perfect for me. Interestingly enough, I think this is the first episode in a long while where I am not playing the game for the first time in years, because I've actually played this game quite a bit this year. I had a little bit of a comeback to it, a bit of a resurgence. It's a good game, but sometimes there's just a little bit too much. Well, that's the first boss done, and this is part of why I love playing as Azazel. Simply because he is such a quick character to play as. Now I do want to thank everyone for all the amazing comments. I'm not sure if I would have actually come back to this if I didn't get the notifications continually from you and everyone leaving very nice messages underneath these videos. It really motivated me to come back to this. But regardless, this run is going fairly decently. While my items aren't great, as this is an Azazel run, I mean, you can basically beat it without getting any good items. Since your DPS will be enough, you just need to be a little bit skilled, which I'm not sure whether I'm enough for that. Well, that's this floor mostly done, though unfortunately I do need to go back in order to find the gold room, since I do want to get all the items I can. Sat bombs are a pretty good item to receive when playing as Azazel, honestly, since if I'm not mistaken they do explode into brimstone tears. Let's just check. Monstro will be my first victim. Yep, that sure is how it works. It's always really funny how whenever I record these videos I have to change the chair I'm sitting on because my office chair is a little bit squeaky, and I'm not sure if everyone listening to this is trying to drift asleep to the soothing sounds of Isaac wants to hear a creaky chair. Now, this black heart damage was half intentional, simply because I did not want to deal with that room. It might be a bit faster as Azazel, but sometimes Isaac just gives you some rooms that take forever to beat. But I think bad luck is just part of everything we do. So constructed experience. It's not the player fighting against the creator, it's the player fighting against the environment. Which is part of why I enjoy this game so much. I accidentally just pressed the wrong button there, but luckily I do have a full card, which allowed me to enter the cursed room without taking any damage. But I should probably refrain from doing any more of those accidental activities. Also, do let me know how you feel about the keyboard sounds, since I do have a quieter keyboard that I could connect, but I thought there might be something to hearing the clicky clacky while listening to my voice have a little bit more going on. Those enemies are the bane of my existence when I'm not playing as a Azazel, since they do have quite a large amount of health. But luckily for me, the random gods were smiling at me today when I clicked the random character button on the main menu. One will notice that my favorite characters are all characters that deal in higher damage, because it is my favorite stat in the game. I like Judas, and I like the Keeper, and I like Azazel, and I don't like the characters that do decrease damage when they start. But I think most of all, I don't like characters which are boring, which is why I don't like Blue Baby, or question mark, as he's known in the game officially. That was one of the moments where Azazel's range actually does play a role. Though, if you've ever heard me play this game back in the day, I always love to reiterate how people overplay the significance of his range disadvantage. I'm going to get the Circle of Protection, but unfortunately it did not protect me from that attack just then and there. I have a good feeling about this run, and I think I'm going to be victorious. Which is not a given, because looking back, I have failed a surprising amount of runs in this game. Leo, not a particularly good thing to get for me, because I can already fly over obstacles, so being able to destroy them isn't much of an advantage. Now, this room is actually costing me quite a lot of hit points, and that is mostly my own fault, but you can't always push everything on other people. You've got to take responsibility sometimes, but you can't be too hard on yourself. I've recently talked to someone who I do respect as a person, but I was really surprised by what they told me. They basically said that they believe they don't think anyone is allowed to feel pride person is more healthy than constantly downplaying your achievements. That's how you get imposter syndrome and feel like you don't deserve anything. And that's how you can set expectations for yourself, because if you don't set any expectations, you're gonna be pretty good at meeting them. But deep down you know that you can do better. I think of a story I've heard where an English teacher basically said that he likes to assign essays to different classes that are different lengths. So basically the one class has to write 12 pages, another class has to write 3. And it always seems as though the students struggle to write the last 30% of the essay, while the people who have to write 3 pages go to the teacher and complain that there simply isn't enough material to talk about on 3 pages. The people who have to write 12 pages do so easily. And I think it's an analogy that can be applied to other things where your expectations definitely do play a role in how you approach things. To take school as an example, if you're studying to get a passing grade and nothing more, you're probably not gonna get a great grade, you're probably just gonna get a passing grade. Your expectations determine your actions, and your actions determine your outcomes. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy of sorts. So while it's important to not be too hard on yourself and not set unrealistic goals, I think the more important thing is not the goals, it's you who has to react appropriately to not meeting the expectations that you've set for yourself. Because of course, if you're extremely hard on yourself after you fail to meet your expectations, you're gonna be afraid to set any more of them. So, a better reaction to me is much more important than better expectations. I hope that made sense to you. I try to pack some life lessons I've learned recently into these videos, so I hope you do like that. Maybe it doesn't feel as pointless and trivial to watch these videos. Though, I do think that insomnia can be a real nuisance. It's definitely hard to live with reduced sleep. I remember that falling asleep is really scary, especially in the modern world where we are full of distractions. Falling asleep is a very vulnerable moment because there are no distractions. If you distract yourself, you won't be able to sleep. I will check the boss room here, and while host head is a pretty good item, it is not worth going through boss rush for. Now I am sorry if you heard that. That is my neighbor sneezing, which for some reason sounds like they are screaming in pain. And while I usually do try to record these at night, today I decided to just bite the bullet and go ahead and record at 11 a.m. And I'm very glad that there is no construction work right now, as I don't think that would be exactly the most soothing experience to listen to. This room was pretty scary, and in fact most futuro enough as is. Once again, if you would like to hear any particular noises more, I'd be glad to provide. I'm simply not very well versed in the ASMR space, so I will definitely listen to all the feedback you provide, which it seems as though so far has been really positive. The sad bombs really do make this boss fight quite trivial, but I do really enjoy sad bombs as Azazel. Another range up. This run is truly a marvel. We are actually going to unlock It Lives fairly soon, which is going to be quite exciting. At least if the title screen did not deceive me. We shall soon be allowed to progress into the next chapter of this game. Though I will say it has always irritated me a little bit as someone who started multiple save files for The Binding of Isaac, that it does take quite a significant amount of time to unlock the last chapter of the game, defeating each of the cathedral/shoal bosses 5 times is quite a significant undertaking. But alas, once you have to do that once, and once it's done, it's dusted. It's over. And I do think that that's something to enjoy. As a person, I'm really a get out of the way guy. I'm a person who just like when there's something to do, I like to do it in one sitting and simply finish it. I think ignoring your responsibilities or splitting it up into parts can occupy a lot of mental space that could be used for other things, and also just generally increases your stress. I mean, part of the reason why I'm like this is because I am a serial procrastinator who always waits to do things at the very last moment, but when I do the things, I do them in its entirety. I don't simply lie to myself about doing a little bit of work. I invest my soul into it and see it through till the end result is there. This route did take quite a long time, and I did take quite a lot of damage, so that's definitely going to need to be remedied. I certainly hope that the direction I'm going is actually where the boss fight is located, because if it's not, that would be quite unfortunate. Perhaps the chest did not contain what I needed it to contain. Okay, at least I have found the boss room, where we are going to fight Mom's heart. Our item loadout is really dang good, and while we do not have any active item, I don't think that should discourage us So I'm going to have to backtrack quite a significant amount, but I do think that in the end it will be worth it, since this backtracking ensures that we do not die in 1 and 2 hits, but rather we do die in 3. I accidentally entered a room I definitely did not want to enter, which is actually really bad since it took away my buffer. And while, yes, with the half red heart that is on the ground in a different room, I am still at the 3-hit range. Things have definitely heated up a little bit. It's getting quite scary. Such a strong run should not inspire such fear, I don't think. I think I'm going to tone down my commentary for this boss fight just a little bit. Okay, wish me luck. I think placing bombs is definitely the optimal thing to do here, and I think we will be successful.